Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be replacing the fuel tank on the Fiesta. I showed you a picture the other week on a previous video and it has imploded. I also did a video on refurbing an original tank and I'm going to get that fitted in today. So let's start. As I knew this job was coming up, I've been driving round and I've not been filling the car up. I've had 2 fuel cans full of fuel behind the seat just in case I did run out of fuel on any journey. I've managed to get the tank down to just over a quarter of a tank, which I think is about right for removing the tank safely. I'm going to put a jack underneath with a plank of wood just to support the weight when I remove the bolts and then lower it down. But first job's going to be disconnect the battery. I'm back inside the car now. I've took the rear seat out to reveal the grommet that's hiding the fuel sender multi-plug. I'm just going to carefully disconnect this now, so when I lower the tank it ain't going to pull it through. But that's done, and now it's to go under the car and disconnect the fuel pipe. As you can see, the tank's fully been sucked in. It's quite bad really, but that shows you what kind of vacuum must have been being created inside. This is an aftermarket tank and I don't know if they're any weaker than a standard one, which is why I've bought an original Ford tank. But like I say, next step's just pull it out. I've got these 2 fuel connectors to disconnect. There's also a breather on top of the tank, and then up to the left and right of the tank there's 2 bolts, and there's another 2 bolts at the back. That should then allow me to lower the tank down a little bit so I can then remove the breather pipe. As I lower the tank down fully, fingers crossed, the fuel filler neck should just slide out as well. I've took the fuel tank off and it's a lot worse than I first thought. As you can see here, it's really been sucked in. I thought it was just on the bottom, but it's really imploded. I hope it's not damaged this sender, but I'm going to take it out now and have a look. Well, I'm sat in the Fiesta. It started raining just as I got the old fuel tank out and swapped the sender over. It always happens to me, drives me nuts. It was beautiful this morning, it starts pissing it down, but I've had a look up at the sky and it's beautiful blue sky to the right, so it looks like it's going to pass over. So as soon as this rain stops, I can get back on with putting the new tank in. Next up, I'm going to remove the filler nozzle, well, the fiddler neck. Just need to take the fuel cap off and then pop this ring off. They do come off pretty easy, and then you twist the nozzle out. Now looking at this, it looks like this has been off before and it's been butchered out. Some of the slide clips are still in place, but this one up at the top's been snapped. So I'll probably have to try and source one that hasn't been damaged and take everything bloody apart again. But let's take this bit out now. I've managed to get the fuel neck off. I was struggling with this bolt that was holding it in place, but I managed to get it out. Well, I've got it off. This is where that anti-trickle valve goes. When I was taking it off, the screw was seized in, so I just cable tied it on until I took this off. I'm going to give this a clean up now, and then I'm going to fit that anti-trickle valve and I'm going to put the fuel filler neck back in. I've given the fuel nozzle a really good clean now. This is the anti-trickle valve I was talking about in my previous videos. You've got the breather pipe from the fuel tank that comes into the bottom here, and then a pipe that goes off, runs the full length of the vehicle and goes to the charcoal canister. I'm going to leave this disconnected still while I try and find the anti-purge valve, because there's 2 different multi-plugs. There's an oval one and a circular one, so I need to find out which one it is. I'm going to refit this now to the car and cable tie all the breather pipes back to it. I'm also going to give them a quick blow and see if either of them are blocked. I've finished putting the replacement tank in. Everything seems to go back together nicely. Fuel filler neck went back in, everything slotted back into place and tightened up, all the pipes reconnected. The car's been running like an absolute bag of spanners. As soon as I started it up, it were cutting out, and I don't know whether that's air in the system, but there's a very loud vibrating, and I don't know whether the tank's actually the right one. It's as if the fuel pump's vibrating on the bottom of the tank, and I've never heard it before. I'll just do it now. I didn't know if you quite heard that, but I'm going to start the car up now and just take it for a quick spin. I've put about 10 litres of fuel in the car, and hopefully when I just give it a quick blast around the block now, it'll start running okay. If not, I'm just going to have to order a aftermarket tank and swap it over again. It's an absolute pain, but at least the sun's been shining today after the downpour, I suppose. But I'm just going to take it out now and see how we get on. I've just given the car a quick blast, but I don't know if you can hear that noise. It's quite a high-pitched humming. I do think the fuel pump's vibrating on something in that fuel tank. So I'm going to just order an aftermarket tank and swap it over and see how it gets on. The car seems to be running fine now. There was a little blip when I was coming down the main street then, but I'm just going to give it another go and see how I get on. I've just got to my parents, and I don't know if you can pick that up on the microphone, but I've never heard that noise before. And I know when you change things on cars, you can be a little bit sensitive to noises, especially the stuff you've just changed, but I definitely don't remember hearing that noise, and it sounds like the pump's almost straining. But like I say, I'm going to replace that fuel tank. It's not been quite the job that I expected. I thought it'd be a lot easier than this. There's always problems with these old cars. I suppose that's a downfall or a joy of owning them. But I will fix this car, and I will fix that fuel tank, and I'm going to get one. So hopefully this time next week it'll all be fixed. Thanks for watching.